Oh, to wait to a chill in the air and the smell of bacon cooking. Jump out of bed and run across the cold wood floor into the kitchen. That is where I would find my grandfather sitting in the mornings, drinking his coffee and eating the fresh biscuits right out of the oven from my grandmother. My name is Dina Beard, and I'm one of Ben Terry's 13 grandchildren. I'm speaking to you today on how proud I am to be called Ben Terry's granddaughter. My grandfather was the most amazing man I have ever known. When I think about him, the words that come to mind are provider, caring, humorous, faithful, respectful, storyteller, craftsman, family man, and many other words. It would be impossible to summarize a wonderful person he was in words. My grandfather was a great craftsman and a gardener. Some of my earliest memories are spending time with my grandfather in his workshop or in his garden. He would show me how he grew the vegetables, starting from seedlings into really big, nice fruits. Then he would show me how he created furniture from pieces that people would think were just mere junk and would put out in the trash. This was the great gift that my grandfather had, finding the beauty in things that people couldn't see the beauty in. He always pointed out the good in people. Not only did he find the beauty in the things he built, I never heard my grandfather speak an unkind word about anyone, only good things about that person, no matter what he or she had done. My grandfather always loved to make things fun for all of the grandkids. I remember one Christmas when he carried me and my cousins to the mall in Tyler. Man, that was a hoot. He turned the radio up and had it blaring all the way, and then we just got to the mall and we just hung out with Grandpa. Most grandfathers, you wouldn't even catch them in the mall. They wouldn't do that. But he always loved to make things fun for us, and he always laughed, and we always had fun. He loved doing crossword puzzles. I would show up at his house, and he'd be sitting in his recliner doing his crossword puzzles, and I remember sitting on the arm of the chair and watching him. And I always thought he was so smart because I never could figure them out. And he always did. We would buy him gifts at Christmas that had crossword puzzle stuff. I remember a roll of toilet paper that had crossword puzzles on it. But he loved crossword puzzles. And he'd always tell us stories about growing up, about how they used to walk everywhere. He told how he met my grandmother and when he was a young man, the different things they would do and how he did sharecropping and just things that a lot of the young people now you just find kind of hard to believe on how they lived. And not only was my grandfather active in the wood shop and the garden, he loved to fish. Fishing was his passion. He would fish year-round, him and my grandmother, and we'd have an annual fish fry, and I never saw the man eat one piece of fish. He didn't like it, but he loved to fish, and he loved to have the get-together and have the fish fry. He loved fishing so much, I remember when my son was born. They came up to the hospital. He looked in the window at the nursery, and he said, "Oh my gosh, he looks like a catfish." He said, "I think that's what I'm going to call that boy, is catfish." So he was always joking around like that. My grandfather always had a way of making people smile and feeling wonderful about themselves. He would make you feel like the most important person in the room, almost like you were a king or a queen. He just had that gift about him. If I was in a low place in my life, he was always there to cheer me up and always knew what to say. There was a great turning point in my grandfather's life when he lost my grandmother. With the love of the family and friends that he had and his faith in God, he made it through and he lived many years after she died. The last time I spent with my grandfather, he was in the nursing home. Before his death, he told me that he was ready to go. He knew he was ready. He wanted everybody to let him go, and he was prepared, and he was ready to go be with my grandmother. He also told me, in a joking way, but I knew he was sincere about it. He said, "I can already hear her when I get to heaven. She's going to meet me at the gates, and she's going to say, 'Ben Terry, what took you so long to get here?'" I just can't imagine the love that he had for my grandmother. It's just unimaginable to me. I never saw them fight, and they were just always together, did everything together. And I know the love I felt from him had to just be a small portion of the love he had for my grandmother. My grandfather made a big impact in my life, and I do appreciate him and owe him a lot of things for the things he did to me and how he's made me have confidence and feel about myself. And in closing, I'd like to share a quote from Richard Evans. Children will not remember you for the material things that you provide, but for the feeling that you cherish them. Thank you.
Thank you.